have my friend Tracy Beavers here. She's the CEO and founder of Tracy Beavers Coaching. Tracy has a proven track record with business growth. So with an award-winning career that spans 20 years, Tracy's guided hundreds of entrepreneurs to grow their business visibility through organic marketing strategies. She's a public speaker, published author. She's been featured by CBS Television, the Wall Street Journal, Vanity Fair, and Kajabi. And she's a creator of the top-ranked business podcast, Create Online Business Success. So Tracy, welcome to Sales on Purpose.
Thanks so much, Tasha. I'm so excited to be here.
We're gonna start off by chatting about your business and what you do, and I'm gonna force you to give us some secrets.
Okay.
That you typically don't give people, just at least one juicy secret. And then we're gonna walk through how you make sales in your business.
Okay.
Kind of a behind the scenes, and I think that's gonna help a lot of business owners to say, oh, here are a couple things I can pick up and implement for my own.
Yeah.
So tell us about your business. What do you do? Who do you help?
So I serve online entrepreneurs, so course creators, consultants, coaches. And what I do as a visibility and list growth strategist is I help them ramp up their visibility on social media to the point where people in their audience say, oh my gosh, Tasha, I see you everywhere. But you and I know you're not online 24/7. It just looks like you are. And all of that visibility leading to your list growth, because the list, as you know, we've got to build an email list. We've got to use attraction marketing to pull our audience off of social, offline, and onto our list where we can really nurture them into buyers.
Yes, I love that. So then what's the core problem that you solve for your clients?
I help them, like I said, ramp up their visibility, which gets them more leads, gets them more list growth, gets them more income overall. That's the whole goal. Everybody wants more income. Yeah. But what they realize is there's steps to getting to the income. And for what I teach, that list is going to give you the income you want. Well, what do you need to get the list? You need the visibility.
So what's a common misconception people have in your industry?
Well, and this is not going to shock you at all, but I'm sure you have heard from a lot of clients and students that come into the online space and they think it's going to be easy. They think it's going to be easy to build an online business, and they think it's going to be very inexpensive. Now, compared to a brick and mortar business that has employees and cash registers and inventory and leasing and all that jazz, it can be much less expensive to bootstrap something in the online space. But there's such a learning curve with it. Even me, 25-year award-winning corporate sales career, knowing all the stuff I know about marketing, sales, and business development, I'm pretty well educated. I came into the space thinking it looked easier than it was. And I think the people stub their toe on that a lot, and then they get frustrated and then they quit. So I always try to bring the message of honesty and transparency of it's going to be tough. There's going to be a learning curve. You're going to learn it. It's going to be okay. But it's like, I felt like I was learning a different language. Honestly.
Yeah, 8 years later, I still get like triggered by some of the online learning stuff. So within that bigger problem of people think it's gonna be more expensive or not expensive and very easy, right? All I have to do is post on social.
Yeah.
What I notice with my clients is then they either think it's easy or they think it's the hardest thing ever. And it's like so confusing. What do you think are the little problems within that span that people are able to solve, or that need to be able to, what do they need to be able to solve? What are the smaller problems underneath that?
Yeah, some smaller problems would be, they do get overwhelmed. Overwhelm is a word I hear a lot. And if I could just eliminate it out of everybody's vocabulary, that would be super. Yeah. But I think they come in with a build it and they will come thought process, because that's what they've seen on social media from some of the big names, and some of the ads and things. And you've got to have the audience in order to make the sales. And so the smaller problem is that they put the cart before the horse. And a lot of times they find me because they have built this awesome program, this group coaching program, or a one-to-one offer, or an online course, but they don't have anybody to buy it. And they go to launch it and they wonder why no one's buying it. And it's because nobody knows you. They haven't gotten warmed up to you. They're still cold to you. They don't know if they can trust you yet. They're not even sure if they like you yet. And you haven't demonstrated your expertise. And so it's kind of like they started at the finish line and now I got to back them up to get them, to give them a running start to make it better the next time.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So what's the most important concept that you teach people and that they really need to understand?
From a visibility standpoint, people cannot buy what they can't see. And, so I had one of my students, this is a good example of this. One of my students, brilliant woman, she helps dementia caregivers navigate the diagnosis, how to be a caregiver, all the stuff. She had a $97 offer. And she said to me in one of our sessions, she said, well, I don't understand why nobody's buying it. And I said, well, have you marketed it out on social media? She's like, well, I did it once. I said one post on one one platform. I was like, okay. And then I said, well, what about your email list? Because she had like 2,500 subscribers on her email list. She said, well, I haven't told them about it. And I'm like, holy mackerel. I said, okay, we're changing this right now. I said, I'm giving you a challenge in the next 48 hours. I want you posting twice a week on social media about this super cool $97 thing. And I want you to email your list. And she did, and she made $2,500.
Nice.
Yeah. But nobody knew. She was like, why isn't anybody buying it? And I'm like, because they don't know exist.
Yeah, one of the things you told me before is don't make yourself the best kept secret.
Yes. Yeah.
And like that doesn't really serve anyone. So then what's your unique framework or method that you use with your clients?
So I have a very unique framework when it comes to list building. And it was born because I was building this business alongside my corporate job. I am not a patient person. When I decide I want something, I want it. I'm not going to wait for it.
Right.
And so I thought, well, I'll try paid ads. Major fail twice. I think I wasted probably $10,000 on paid ads. Yeah, nothing converted. And I had hired experts to help me. It was a dumpster fire. So, okay, all right, that's out of the question. We're not doing that again. And then all the list building courses that were out there said to identify your ideal client. Got to do that. I did that. Create a free lead magnet or two. Yeah. Put it out on social. I did that. My list was growing, but I was like, this is not going fast enough for me. And so my list building strategies I do not focus on paid ads. And I am not the list growth coach that's going to tell you, oh, Tasha, just create another free lead magnet and put it out on social media. I teach you everything else to maximize your visibility, where you can stay consistent on social media with your content without exhausting yourself and burning yourself out. And then all of that online content leading to your list. And then there's some little secrets and some sauce that I can teach you about using your Facebook personal profile, being visible in other people's Facebook groups, and different things that go along with the visibility strategies. And all of that goes to list growth. So I created over 10 strategies. Cool. And when they're layered in the proper order, what ends up happening is the list growth starts happening automatically every day in the background of the business. And all my clients and students have to focus on is their content, putting out the calls to action, showing, the strategies. They focus on the strategy, and the list growth is happening back here. It's like magic.
That's cool. So one of the things that I notice with clients is just the consistency problem.
Yep.
Or the implementation problem. So what would you say about those concepts? Like, how would you coach someone through those issues?
Yeah. Are you talking about with regard to their weekly content?
Yeah. Content, even the input, like I'm thinking 10 strategies, that might take me a minute.
Yeah.
So I guess either maybe just talk about consistency with weekly content. Like, what advice do you have for people who struggle with that?
Yeah. So one of the things I teach is and I did this, this saved my sanity when I was building alongside the corporate job, Very, very stressful job. We had 2 kids. We still have 2 kids, but still have them. But back then they were high school and middle school.
Mm-hmm.
I swear to you, I think they played every sport that had a ball. So we were busy, and I had to find ways to build this thing with consistency, because one of the things I see is my students will come out of the gate strong and excited, and they go 7 days a week on social media, and I'm going to stick with it forever. And then like a month in, they're like, I'm exhausted. I don't want to create another piece of content. I can't do this. And they stop.
Mm-hmm.
And they catch their breath, and like 3 weeks later, they're back. And that is when the algorithm doesn't know who you are. Your audience doesn't know who you are. Your consistency is gone. So one of the things I teach is to map out 90 days of content topics. It's an exercise you can do in just 30 minutes. And we do, it's 12 weeks, basically. So we take one topic per week for 12 weeks. That gives you 90 days. And then what you do is you decide, what is my regular piece of weekly content going to be? Is it going to be a live video? I love live video. The algorithm loves live video. It's fast, it's easy, it's cheap. You push the button, you go live, you're done. Or podcast. Podcast is great second, because you can hear my voice. You can get to know my personality. Some people like to choose a blog. I'm not a blogger. I don't read blogs. But anyway, you choose your regular piece of weekly content. And then you look at that one topic, that 1 week, not the week ahead, not the week behind, that 1 week. And you say, okay, this week I'm going to talk about how to gain visibility in other people's Facebook groups, even the ones that don't allow promotion. That's the topic for the week.
Okay.
Then what's my regular piece of weekly content? Mine is a live video, and it has been for years. I go live every Thursday at 11:30. So what I do is I look at that topic and I go, okay, this is the live script. I write it out. I literally write out my lives, because if I don't have notes, I will squirrel this off into a ditch, and it's just, I'll forget half the stuff I want to tell you. I'll tell you a whole bunch of stuff that doesn't have anything to do with anything. And then, it's gone. So I write out the hook, my intro, the things I want to share with you, the outro, the call to action. It's all there. So that's my anchor piece of content. That's my regular piece of weekly content on that one topic. Then, because we've got AI, it's even easier now. Take that script or those notes, throw it into a free version of ChatGPT or your favorite AI tool, and say, this is the training I'm going to deliver to my audience this week. Please write me 2 to 3 social media posts that pertain to this topic. Now, back when I was doing this in the dinosaur age, there was not an AI tool. So I had to literally look at my content and be like, okay, if I'm giving them 3 tips, I'm going to take one of those tips, write a social media post.
Right.
Take the second tip, write a social media post. Third tip, write a social media post. That social media post isn't fresh and new that I've had to make up. It's based on what I already wrote.
Yeah.
And then you've got 2 to 3 fresh, what I call fresh content pieces to go with your regular piece of weekly content. Then the email to your list, my email on Tuesday is, hey, Tasha, I'm going live on Thursday. This is what I'm going to talk about. This is what I'm going to tell you. So the email that I need for the week comes off of that live training, the social media posts. And then when you have lead magnets, so ask ChatGPT or something to help you write 2 social media posts that go with each of your lead magnets. Then you've got what I call evergreen content. That's not going to change. So you add on your 2 to 3 social media posts for the week. You add in a lead magnet. You add in I post about, hey, I've got a free Facebook group. Want to join me? Here's what's in it for you to join me. That's 5 posts I've got for the week. And I only had to really write one thing.
I love that. That's so good.
Keeps you going every week where you're not exhausted, because I knew on Thursday, all I had to do was write that live script and then pull out some other stuff, send it out. I'm done.
That's great. That's great. I love that. Well, I was going to ask you for secrets.
There's one.
You just gave me one. But so I'm going to ask you, I hope you're not like, let's talk about something else. So you mentioned something about Facebook groups, and there's no promotion allowed.
Yeah. Well,
would you be willing, as your secret for today, to share with us how to get around that? Obviously, you don't have to give us your whole paid program, but that is a juicy, juicy secret.
Yeah, it's okay. This is one of the things I teach in my live masterclass when I launch my program, so I don't mind sharing it with you.
Okay, cool.
But there's a step you have to do before. So Facebook, other people's Facebook groups, great strategy for gaining visibility. That's what I'm doing right now with your group. They don't know who I am, but you've brought me in. You've given me the floor. I have instant credibility with your audience because they're like, well, if Tasha likes her, because Tasha's not going to let anybody come in here and talk to us, right? So Facebook groups are a great way to get visible, make connections, even in groups that don't allow promotion. But there's a step you've got to do before you try to do this. Otherwise, you're wasting your time. And what I'm talking about is your Facebook personal profile. You have to dial it in with the full menu of you. And what I mean by that is a picture of you as the profile photo, not your dog, not your cat, not a truck, not your kids, you. Under the profile photo is, I think it's still called the intro section. And it's your I help, your I teach, your I do this statement. And mine says something like, entrepreneurs that work with me grow their email lists automatically every day in the background of their business, whatever, right there. Who I serve, how I serve them. Then when I go to, because nothing gets my goat more than this. When I meet somebody that's cool and I go look them up and I go to their about section and it says no workplaces to show. And I'm like, what are they doing this business as a hobby? I mean, I thought they were an expert, right? So make sure that you fill in every nook and cranny that Facebook gives you on that personal profile. Every link you have. When I go to the links section, I want to see your email, if you want to give it to me, your website, if you've got Pinterest, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook group, podcast. I mean, give it all to me, right?
Yeah, right.
Right there. And then that makes it easier on people to connect with you because they are not going to hang around to solve the mystery of how do I get in touch with Tasha? They're just not going to do it. And then the piece de resistance on the whole thing is your cover photo. It's in the shape of a billboard. So let's use it for promotion. This cover photo is where you are going to get list growth without having to think about it or ask for it. On this cover photo, I want you to showcase something free that your audience wants. If you go to mine, depending on the time that this recording is released, most of the time mine advertises my free Facebook group. And I have a hook at the top of, come learn list growth because that's what my audience wants. And then what's in it for them to join it. And then a lot of people don't know this. When you click on a cover photo, there's a description box that opens up to the right. That is where you put the actual hot hyperlink to whatever it is you're offering. So if you said, I'm going to save you 10 hours a day, grab my free guide with these 5 steps, and you put a little click here or join here button on it, they click it, they go to the description box, and you're going to go, I'm going to save you 10 hours a day with my free guide to XYZ. We're going to do PDQ, link to grab it. Cool. Because when you go to network in person or virtually on a virtual networking session or in a Facebook group, and somebody gets curious about you, and they will, you want to have that maxed out and you want them to go right onto your list. You want them to just slide right down your funnel, just right. And you haven't had to ask them to do it. So I have hundreds of people that join my free group every month, and 85% of them, I've never met them, but they see me online and they get curious and they go to my personal profile. So when we go into these Facebook groups, first of all, we want to find Facebook groups where our ideal clients are hanging out, or collaboration partners that you could get to know and do live collaborations with, or be a podcast guest, or be on a summit, or whatever it is they've got. Get in front of their audience, and then they can get in front of yours. And so in these groups, especially the ones that don't allow promotion, you feel like you can't move, because it's like, well, if I say anything or I post anything, they're just going to think I'm being promotional. No, not necessarily. It's on the way you do it. So when I'm in these groups, I am looking for ways that I can serve. That's the key to sales. You know that. It's the reason why I was an award winner with sales my whole corporate career, because I focused on the other person as a warm, kind human being, and how can I serve them, and uncovering their needs and showing up. And so I show up in these groups. I have like 2 or 3 that I really like to be in. A couple of minutes a day. I go in, I look to see, can I answer a question for somebody? Did anybody ask anything about visibility or list growth? Or did somebody comment and say, my Facebook group is dead, what do I do? Or did somebody say, could somebody look at my lead magnet? I think it stinks. I'll be like, okay, cool. I'll look at it. I'll give you some feedback, or I'll help you, hey, here's some tips on reviving your group. Don't give up on it. I haven't promoted anything. All I've done is be myself and share my expertise. But the more I do that, the more the members of the group are going to see my name, It takes a little time, but they're going to click on my name because they're going to go, who the heck is this girl? She is here all the time. Or I'm simply saying, if you said, I'm launching tomorrow and I feel like I'm going to throw up, I'm going to comment and go, you got this. I'm cheering for you. Come back and let us know how it goes. Because that's what you would say as a nice person.
Right. Yeah. Be a good human. I have a hoodie that says, be a good human.
Yeah. And so, so you do that and then they click on your personal profile. And that's where the magic happens. They go there and they go, she does that for those people. I want to hire her. And they'll follow me on Instagram, or they'll ideally click on my cover photo and come join my free group.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I like that. I want to let you know, I really appreciate the detail that you went into on that.
Good.
I think when people share their secrets, it's like not enough to implement. And so I think that was great. And what I took from that is I think sometimes people are trying to be too strategic.
Yes. They're overthinking it.
And there is like, some of it's just like being present, as opposed to every single thing being strategic with an end in mind, because that attachment to outcome, people feel that, right?
Yes, they do. They can smell that desperation and that commission. We called it commission breath when I was in sales. It's like you can smell that way. Yeah. The other thing you can do in the group is you can create a post that gives tips, does not promote. So I could post in the group and I could say, if you feel like your Facebook group is dead, here's 3 things you could look at today. And at the bottom of it, I could say, tell me how this helped you, or what are your best tips for reviving a dead Facebook group? Mm-hmm. I haven't promoted anything. I'm promoting myself without promoting anything because I'm showcasing my expertise.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Now, how often would you recommend to do that if it was a group, like one of those kinds of posts?
Great question. It depends on the size of the group, because the last thing you want is for any other group members to think, God, she's in here all the time. And why is she like, you don't want to be all, look at me, look at me, look at me. And you also don't want to step on the toes of the owner of the group. Right. So in my free group, I have about 3,500 online entrepreneurs, and they can post anytime, and I allow promotion in my group. They can promote anytime. I'm just like, come in, don't be a spammy weirdo. It'll be fine. I would say get the lay of the land, get the feel of the group. And maybe once or twice a month, I would post something that's a tip.
Yeah, I was thinking about once a month, and I was thinking back to the consistency thing of like actually taking the step and creating a recurring task in Google Tasks or Asana Tasks. It's like, make a value post for this group or these 3 groups or whatever, so that it's part of our day-to-day, as opposed to, I listened to Tracy tell me this thing, I'm going to go do it, and it just disappears from my life forever and ever.
Right. And going back to that first social media strategy that I walked through with the piece of regular content and the social media post you're going to make, you could create a post that gives those tips with no promotion and put that in a little Google Doc and just go pull it out. Just be like, so while you're creating that every week, then you're creating, I have a Google Doc that says no promo posts. And then I've got one that says promo posts, because you can take that same post of, do you feel like your Facebook group is dead? And if the group allows promotion, sometimes I want you to make a note of that. If it's like every Saturday you could do something, or there's a promotion thread, make a note, make sure you show up on it every week. And then that post, you can, all you have to do is change the call to action at the bottom. So you think your Facebook group is dead? Try XYZ. What have you tried to revive a group? No promotion. Then you do the same post at the bottom. Instead of saying, what do? You could say, this is a great thing to talk about in my 45-minute one-to-one session. We could totally knock out a roadmap for you to revive your group. DM me if you're.
Yeah, if they allow promotion. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. I love that. I just want to say thank you so much for sharing that amount of detail.
Sure.
Let's talk about how you make sales.
Yeah.
So what I am really hoping for this, show is talking to successful entrepreneurs and how they make sales on purpose. And the concept behind sales on purpose is like living out our purpose, but also intentional activities.
Yeah.
And I think, as you mentioned earlier with the visibility stuff, that's the similar thing I see in sales. where there is a lack of intention. So let's talk about some of the intentions that you have in your business, because being a six-figure entrepreneur is no joke. So what does your process look like from I've never met you to now I'm a client of Tracy's?
Yeah. Well, it depends on how you come into my world. So the easiest way to make a connection and have a reason to make a connection is if you join my free group. That is why every time you turn around in my funnels, I am inviting you to my free group. Like, you opt in for something on the thank you page. Hey, I got a free group. In the email, hey, join my free group. In the link magnet itself, join my free. Okay, so if they join my group, they're going to be on my list. And then I'm a DMer. I love to use the DMs because back when I was corporate boots on the ground in person, it was all about coffee chats and meeting for coffee, meeting for lunch, all that stuff. The in-person building of the relationships, meeting people, having the conversations, making the connection and finding out what they need, if they need your thing at all. If they don't, it's okay. Doesn't mean they never will. And the same conversation needs to take place online. And what happens to our brain is we think it's so different. It's really not. The only thing that's changed is the location of the conversation has moved from a coffee shop to the DMs. It's the same conversation. So if you join my free Facebook group, that is a low-hanging fruit for me, because I'm going to be like, Tasha, welcome into the Be a Confident Entrepreneur group. I'm so glad you're here. You can XYZ here. I help entrepreneurs do da-da-da-da-da. And we start a conversation. And I am uncovering your needs. And if I can, and this is where a lot of people stub their toe, if I uncover a need, when you say to me, I am struggling, oh my gosh, you teach list growth, I am struggling to grow my list. If I do not make an offer, then that's just stupid, right? Yeah. I mean, that's dumb. And so at that point, I'm going to be like, do you want to hop on a 15-minute call, talk about what's going on, and talk about how I could potentially help you?
Yeah, just do it. Just go for it.
Do it. Yeah. And so, but if you haven't come to me that warm yet, and let's say we meet in a Facebook group and I'm seeing you a lot. Now, you have to be kind of careful with this. If the group allows you to DM somebody, then go ahead and do it. Tell them, say, I'm going to DM you. I hope that's okay. Let's connect. Because sometimes in those comments in the group, people will say, oh my gosh, I'd love to connect with you to learn more about what you just said. Awesome. They've given me permission to do it. Do you want me to DM you? They'll say yes. Okay, there we go. We're back in the DMs. And what I'm doing there is, oh my gosh, I've been in the XYZ group for so long. I've met some really cool people. I'm so excited to connect with you. Tell me about your business, or tell me about what's going on. And what I'm doing is having that conversation, seeing where I can be of service. And if what I offer is the answer for them, then I have to offer it.
Yes.
It is rude if I do not. It's just rude if I don't.
It's rude.
Sales on purpose for me is really all about connection.
Yeah.
Humans.
Sorry. I just really also, and I think that's why we hit it off, is really, I'm like, and you're just not going to invite them, how exclusive and how uncomfortable. And I think that makes people feel like, okay, well, I guess I'm not good enough for this. Or, we don't think about how that projection matters. Now, my next question is, as a business owner, what's the hardest part for you about making sales? And I know you're going to say I don't struggle with it, but I'm going to push you on it. I'm going to push you a little bit.
Yeah, sometimes I do stub my toe. Yeah.
Okay. So I know you had, you were a corporate salesperson. I was a corporate salesperson. So I get that. Still yet, I have struggles. What are some of the struggles that you have?
Yeah. One of the biggest ones is, so I launched my program, my 8-week group coaching program. I launch it 3 times a year, and we launch it with live master classes. And, people that will register, they'll show up live. Everybody that shows up live gets a DM from me if I can find them in the DMs. And I'm opening up that conversation, because what I have found is some people will buy live on the masterclass. A lot of people don't. They want to have a conversation with me, because my audience has spent a crap pile of money on a lot of courses, a lot of programs. I was talking to a gal the other day. She paid $20,000 for a program, and she's considering hiring me because she didn't get the help she needed. And so one of the things that I struggle with is that money objection.
Yeah.
And so I'm always looking for ways to overcome that in a way that it conveys the true spirit of what I want to do. If somebody's going to spend money with me, I want to make sure it's a good fit.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you if my program's not right for you or it's not the right time. I'll tell you if I'm not the right one-to-one coach for you.
Mm-hmm.
But that money objection has had me stub my toe a few times,
Mm-hmm.
because it's like, oh my God, okay, I can see why you don't want to join another program. You have spent, there was a gal, Tasha, there was a gal who spent $100,000 over the course of this last year. She has made no money. I'm like, who are you hiring and what? I just am like, So anyway, that's where I stubbed my toe is the objection. And it's because it's really hard to overcome that. But what I've ended up doing is saying, you know what? I see that a lot. I hear that because it's the truth. I hear it a lot. Every single launch, 9 out of 10 people have spent a lot of money and nothing to show for it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just do my best to convey, this is what sets me apart. This is what makes me different. When you come into my world, I will hold your hand as tightly as you want me to. You do the work, you show up, I'm going to be there, help you with every single piece. But yeah, it's that money objection.
I think that the thing about the money in the online space is like the bigger coaching companies that have seen a lot of success, right? They're in a different phase of business. And so, their prices end up being significantly higher. The touch is lower, but they have the expertise and they're brilliant and there's nothing against that.
Right.
A lot of people need really that direct access to get unstuck.
Yeah, they do.
And so what happens is they'll invest in the big guy, right? Because understandably so, because of reputation, because of track record, etc.
Yeah.
And then they come and meet, I'll just call us littler guy. And we're not little guys, but we're littler guys. We have a proven track record, but we're still in the phase of our businesses where we answer every question.
Right.
Directly by an expert.
Right.
And then people are like, yeah, no. And it's so hard and it's so frustrating. And I think what we need to do is just be like loving and patient in that process. Kind of like, when I met my husband, Charlie, I was like, I don't want a boyfriend. And it wasn't because I didn't like him. It was because the guy I had just dated had beat me over the head. But we were married 1 year and 8 days from our first date. And it wasn't that I didn't want a boyfriend. It's that I didn't want a boyfriend like that.
Yeah.
Because he was just like, okay, I understand where you wouldn't want to rush into anything. That's fine. I'm traveling for work anyway. So you want to hang out? You want to hang out? You want to hang out? And no joke, that was in August at Thanksgiving. I was picking out a dress.
So fun.
With my friend. And
way to go, Charlie.
Yeah, way to go, Charlie. But
really,
it's the same thing, right?
Yeah.
What he had to do is not just like exit the whole situation because I wasn't serious enough or didn't want it bad enough or don't get it.
Yeah.
He was just like, I understand that you were burned in this past relationship and you're not willing to rush in. So I'm just going to stay consistent. I'm going to show you I have integrity. And if I'm the right fit, you're going to jump in.
Yeah. Charlie stood in his confidence on that. Charlie stood in his confidence and didn't tell himself any crap stories like a lot of us do. Oh, she doesn't really like me. Oh, I'm not good enough. All the crap we tell ourselves. Charlie was like, I'm in this. I want that girl. I'll hang out. Yeah.
Or maybe he was so unsure like me that he was just like, whatever, I guess we'll just see what happens. Is more of what I think happened.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, that makes sense. I'm also unsure.
Right.
What's the best piece of advice that you would have for entrepreneurs who are listening to this around sales?
Patience and consistency. Patiently persistent. Kindly, patiently persistent. I joke that, but it's true. I will follow up with you until you either say, you go to the hot place. I don't want to hear from you anymore. Like, go to HE double hockey sticks. I don't want to hear from you ever again. Or your social security number expires. I will continue to follow up with you.
Yeah.
Until you flat out say, get off my lawn and don't ever ring my doorbell again. Or you pass away, either one. But we have to be, and this is what I was told in corporate and sales, and this is what I'm hearing from a lot of people that have been in my world for a while. They're like, Tracy, you were genuine, you were kind, you followed up with me, you did not push me, you did not try to convince me. I was like Charlie. I was like, okay, cool. We can hang out, we can be friends. I'm going to check in on you. I'm going to see how you're doing. And a year from, I don't say this is what I'm thinking. A year from now, when you tell me you're still in the same spot, I'm probably going to say something like, you know what, you and I have been having this conversation for a year. Are you ready to do something about it?
Yeah, I love that. I love that wording too. We've had this conversation for a year. We're willing to do something about it.
Yeah, that's heartbreaking for me to follow up with people, and it's 6 months from the time we first talked, and they're still in the same spot, or it's a year and they're still in the same spot. And I'm like, stop cobbling together all the free and discounted stuff, and come spend some money on somebody that's actually going to care about you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And back to the answer every question thing. I love that y'all do that. I do that. That's what makes me different in my programs. It is me. I answer everything. But people don't believe me, Tasha, when I say that. Do you get, people are like, sure, she answers every question. Do you guys get that too?
I don't know if people say that so strongly, but I'm sure subconsciously.
Yeah.
I'm sure subconsciously they're unsure about that.
Yeah. And I think it's just because they've been in big programs where they were either put on a timer and they couldn't ask the questions they really wanted to ask, and they were rushed, or the pre-submitted questions, and we'll answer the ones that, we feel like answering. So
yeah, we were recently in a program where like asking a question was more work than doing the work of the answer to the question. And that like felt really like tricky for me. And I mean, I've had coaches that work for me, at least, they've had 10 plus years experience. Right. Yeah. And so I would consider those people an expert as well. Right. Like not necessarily just a community manager. And, there might be a time, Tracy, where you and I are doing that. But for right now, right, we want to focus on what we can do. And so for anyone who's out there that's like, I'm newer, and what about the big guys? Is like, you just really focus on your personalization. It makes a big difference to people.
It does, for sure.
Any last thoughts or advice that you'd like to share in successful business?
Yeah. I say this every week at the end of my live trainings. Being an entrepreneur is freaking hard. It is a roller coaster. And what I have found over the years is I'll talk to people that are just starting out and they're riding the roller coaster. And then I'll talk to people like you and me who are several years in, income's coming in, we're doing well, things are great, but we still have days where we're like, is anybody going to buy this? Is this going to work?
Right.
Is this the best idea I've ever had? Or am I just burning my business down over here and I don't know it yet? And so it's just this, like, building a business, don't think it's going to be sunshine and roses every day. For the most part, it's fun and it should be. But you're going to have days where you just feel like you can't coach your way out of a paper sack. And that's normal. The thing I always say every week is it's hard. If you feel like you're alone in that, you're absolutely not. People just don't talk about it enough. Sure. And get into a community of support, like a free Facebook group or like your community, a membership or something like that, where you are surrounded by other people that understand what you do. Because like my husband loves me so much and he's one of my biggest supporters. But quite frankly, if you asked him what I do, he'd probably be like, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. She's on Zoom all day. She's got a fancy microphone.
That's funny.
And so it would be really hard for me to celebrate the lows or the highs with him, but it's easier, it just gets easier when you're hanging around with people that are doing what you're doing.
Yeah, that's funny. That reminds me when my youngest daughter was Haley was 6, maybe. My mom said something about like what your mom does for work. And I was like, I don't know what she does. She just goes blah, 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 blah.
That's funny.
It's funny. Where can people learn more about your work and connect with you?
I have an awesome podcast. I think it's awesome. I love it. It's called Create Online Business Success. And if podcasts are not your jam, but you do love a free Facebook group, you can come into my group. It's called Be a Confident Entrepreneur, Get Visible, Grow Your Email List and Your Income. And you can promote yourself anytime in there. You don't have to worry about doing anything wrong in my group. If you do, I'll let you know. But I attract the same people that you do, Tasha, warm, kind human beings who really just want to support other warm, kind human beings and promote their stuff when they want to and when it's appropriate. And then, network for coffee chats and help people where you can. It's a great group. I love it.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for teaching us your juicy secrets about Facebook groups and giving us behind the scenes into the way you think about sales and how you actually operate. I appreciate you so much. I hope everyone else appreciated this as well. Drop Tracy a line, with your takeaways, and we'll see you all soon. Bye.
Thank you, Tasha.